Motion sensors bring security and comfort in your smart home. How? Let me give you two examples. Imagine you are away and an alarm system in your home is activated. As soon as an intrusion happens in your home, sensor takes motion. In addition to turning on sirens, you will receive a notification and you will be notified about the intrusion. This provides security. How about comfort? Imagine it's dark and you come home. As soon as you open the door, motion sensor detects your motion and your entrance, and immediately it turns on a light. So you never come to a dark home. In this video, I want to show you how you can add video motion sensor into a Vera control units. The motion sensor I use in this video is PSP05, a Z-Wave Plus motion sensor. It's a battery operated device, so be careful that it does not act as a repeater in Z-Wave network because it's battery operated device. This is PSP05. It's used for mounting it by rotating these two parts opposite direction. You can remove the back part. This motion sensor has two buttons. This one is its tamper key, and the next one is here, Z-Wave button. By using this button, you can add it to Z-Wave network, remove it, and reset it. By removing this installation miler, motion sensor is powered up, and immediately it goes to auto inclusion mode for 30 seconds. So if I remove this miler, motion sensor is in inclusion mode for 30 seconds and it's ready to be added to Z-Wave network. During this time, by clicking Z-Wave button once, auto inclusion is aborted. If auto inclusion period is finished or Z-Wave button is pressed during this time, in order to add it to Z-Wave network, by having your gateway in inclusion mode and pressing Z-Wave button once, PSP05 is added to Z-Wave network. Let's add it to Vera control unit. The first step to add any Z-Wave device to Z-Wave network is entering your gateway into inclusion mode. For entering Vera, units to inclusion mode, we should go to devices, click add device. At this page, I prefer selecting generic Z-Wave device. Next, in step 2, Vera asks us whether the device we want to add it to Z-Wave network needs assembly or needs to be assembled. And before clicking next, device must be powered up. If I click next in step 3, Vera goes to inclusion mode and it's ready to add devices to it for 1 minute. Now Vera is in inclusion mode. By pressing Z-Wave button on motion sensor once, it will be added to Vera. At this page, we must name the motion sensor, whatever you want. At the bottom of the page, we should assign a room to it. By clicking Finish, Vera starts configuring motion sensor. It may take up to 90 seconds to Vera finishes configuration of the SP05. During this time, we mustn't do anything. While doing so, don't forget to rotate the two parts. Pay attention to these signs. This sensor has two operation mode, normal mode and test mode. You can switch between these two modes by pressing tamper key 3 times. Pressing tamper key 3 times, if this LED lights up or flashes once, it is in normal mode. But if it turns on for 1 second, it is in test mode. Normal mode, test mode, normal mode. If I install motion sensor in its wall mount plate and tamper key is pressed, after 5 seconds, tamper key is activated by removing sensor from the mounting plate. A command is sent to gateway. Installing this motion sensor, it is recommended that it must be installed with a height of 160 centimeters. After inclusion is done, PIR sensor must be warmed up and it takes 1 minute to be warmed up. During this time, motion sensor does not act, and after this 1 minute, PIR is activated. During warming up PIR sensor, This LED flashes every 2 seconds. Let's go to settings of PSP05. In order to change the settings of any Z-Wave device, numbers that we call them parameters are used. Using Vera, by pressing the arrow button in the left corner, in the right corner of the device, setting of device is opened. By going to device options, we can see parameters. Parameters are numbers and they receive values. In manual of Z-Wave devices, you can find parameters and their definitions. Here some parameters are shown, and in front of the number it is written that what this parameter does. For example, parameter number 3 in PSP05 is related to PIR sensitivity. 0 means disable and 99 means the most sensitive. By default, it is set to 80. If you want to change the sensitivity of PIR sensor, you should write the desired value in this section. By pressing or clicking Save Changes. Changes are saved. This device is battery operated. In order to conserve battery consumption, it goes to a sleep mode. In order to complete the setting parameter, we should either wait for motion sensor to wake up. By default, each 30 minutes it is waked up. Or we can press its Z-Wave button once and it is waked up for 10 seconds. Parameter number 3 is set to 90. By setting parameter 3 to 90, sensitivity of PIR sensor is increased. If I refresh the page, I can see that it's set to 90. Parameter number 8, PIR redetect interval time. Each trick is 8 seconds and it is set to 3 by default. So when the sensor detects a motion after 25 seconds, it can redetect motion. By increasing this parameter, you can save battery life. So each number in this parameter is 8 seconds. 3 means 24 seconds. While associating motion sensor with light, when sensor detects motion, it can turn lights on. You can do that by going to associations. Here, group ID, you should select 2, add group. We should wait till Vera sets configuration. By clicking on set, list of all Z-Wave devices is shown here, and we can select the light we want to be turned on as soon as motion sensor detects motion. In our example, I choose luster and click Save. Please wait for the engine to reload before attempting to change the associations again. Back to Z-Wave, back, back. In order to set association completely, motion sensor must be waked up, woken up. Pressing Z-Wave button once, motion sensor wakes up for 10 seconds. Now, if PSP05 detects motion, luster is turned on. The luster is off after 32 seconds. This period is defined by using parameter 9, turn off light time. Each ticks means 8 seconds. By default, it is set to 4, which means 32 seconds. Pay attention that parameter number 9 must be bigger than parameter number 8. If not, light you have selected turns off before redetecting. But by having parameter number 9 bigger than parameter number 8, sensor will detect motion before turning off light. If there is any motion in the environment. Parameter number 10 defines auto-report battery time. Each tick is 8 seconds and it's set to 12. Parameter number 3, 8, and 9 are main ones, and by referring to its manual, you can find out about other parameters which are somehow technical. If motion sensor detects motion, blister is turned on. PSP05 can't detect motion within 25 seconds. After 25 seconds, it can redetect motion. If it redetects motion, the timer in parameter number 9 is reset and the light won't be turned off. If sensor does not detect any motion, after 32 seconds, blister is turned off in our example. By going to the setting of motion sensor and device options, I can change the association setting by clicking on set. If I want to remove blister, just clicking on blister, it is removed. Don't forget to click save. Here we have the level of battery. It's 100%. By going to notifications, we can define to receive alerts whenever PSP05 is being tampered. At this section, we should name the notification. By clicking Add, it is set. If you want to get a notification in your smartphone or receive emails, here you can activate it by clicking on users you want to receive notification or email. Have in mind that changing settings, you must wait around 30 seconds. During this time, Vera set configurations. Another option this sensor, and let's say all Z-Wave sensors have, is battery level. Okay, now if the battery of a motion sensor goes below 10%, I will receive a notification about it. And by doing so, I never miss motion sensor in working condition. In order to exclude PSP05 from Vera control unit, you should go to the setting of motion sensor. At the bottom of the page, click delete device. By clicking on unpair, Vera goes to exclusion mode. And by clicking Z-Wave button in motion sensor, it is removed from Z-Wave network. By pressing Z-Wave button of motion sensor and holding it for 5 seconds, motion sensor is reset to factory setting or factory default. Is reset. Flashing like this means that motion sensor is in NWI mode, network-wide inclusion. In this mode, as soon as you enter your gateway into inclusion mode, sensor is added to your Z-Wave network. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, by pressing Z-Wave button once, this mode is aborted. During this mode, you cannot reset motion sensor. Now by pressing the wave button and holding it 5 seconds. Motion sensor is reset. LED indicated that. I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have any question, do not hesitate to ask me. Goodbye.